Hey guys, I'm Brandon Dorman, the head trainer here at CrossFit ASA, and today we want to talk about all three of the different squats that we'll do here in the gym. We're going to start with the back squat. So we have Taylor here. She has the barbell already racked on her back. It's going to be up on the meat of the traps when she does this. Okay, so it's a high bar back squat. We got to talk about the positioning first. So a couple things you'll notice that Taylor is doing. She has her feet at shoulder width, and one of the things we always talk about is trying to eliminate all the variables in our different techniques. So with the overhead squat, front squat, or the back squat, we're going to keep our feet in the exact same position. Her head is neutral. She's looking straight ahead. Her core is tight. And to descend, she's going to push her butt back and down. As she lowers, you'll notice that her torso remains vertical, barbell stays on her traps, and her hip crease comes below her knee. Driving through her heels, she'll come back up, keeping her head neutral the entire time, and her torso vertical. Her hips and knees should be fully extended at the top, and that's 1 rep for the back squat. So we just talked about the back squat. Now what we want to do is take you through a front squat. So we have Jason here. He's going to help us out today with this one. First, what we want to do is show you a good front squat rep, and then we're going to show you a couple of faults that people have when they're starting out. You'll notice here with Jason's setup position, it's the exact same with his feet as with the back squat. His feet are at shoulder width. The barbell now is going to be racked across the front rack position, which is on his shoulders and clavicles, and his upper arm is parallel to the ground. To descend, Jason's going to push his butt back and down. You'll notice his torso remains vertical until he reaches depth. Okay, his hip crease is now below his knee, torso is still vertical, thoracic spine is nice and rigid, and his upper arms are still parallel to the ground. He'll drive up, pressing the bar against his throat, keeping his elbows high as he comes out of the hole until he reaches full extension at the top. He stayed back on his heels the entire time, and his core is nice and tight. That's one good front squat rep. Now, a couple faults that some people have. If you have some mobility issues with the wrists, shoulders, elbows, any of these kind of things, one of the things you'll see is the barbell comes off. They'll hold it out in front. Elbows will be behind the bar. This is something that will cause us to duck forward when we come down and cause a lot of extra wrist pain, which we don't want. Okay. Another thing would just be that they have tight hips, or the thoracic spine is not strong enough, so they'll start ducking forward as they go down. You'll notice he may even come up on his toes a little bit. When he comes up, his butt may reach out in front of him, trying to pull it back up. All of these things are things you don't want to see in the front squat. Most of these things are pretty quick fixes with some mobility and some strengthening of the thoracic spine or hips, and those are all things we can take care of in the front squat. So the last and most difficult of our squats will be the overhead squat. We have Jason here to help demo this again. Anytime we take it off the rack, typically we ask them to go from the back rack position to the overhead position by doing a back rack jerk. So Jason will demonstrate that. He'll just dip down, drive, get back underneath the bar until it comes to full extension. As far as the setup goes, his core is going to be nice and tight. You'll notice his arms are fully extended, and the barbell is resting basically right over his back down to his heels, and his feet are in the same position that we talked about in the back and the front squat. To descend, it's the same exact idea. Butt is going to come back and down, core is nice and tight, arms stay extended until he gets his hip crease below his knee, and then he will drive back out of the hole in the same position. You'll notice that his torso didn't change angles, and the barbell stayed in the exact same position the entire time. That is one good overhead squat rep.